Good evening. It's a great night to work for kids in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is exactly 5:30 p.m. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, this meeting is officially open with a quorum present. At this time, we will hear the pledges from Como Montessori Elementary School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mrs. Jackson, members of the board, Dr. Scribner, my name is Jana Bennett, and I'm the principal of Como Montessori School, and we are honored to be present here tonight. The pledges this evening were led by Grace Hasty, 8th grade student at Como Montessori, Simeon West, a 7th grader at Como Montessori, and Jonathan and Jeremy Wynn, a 7th grader at Como Montessori. All of these students work extremely hard at CMS. We're delighted to have the support of their parents this evening. We have Mr. Hasty, and we also have Mrs. Wynn. Our middle school social studies teacher is present, Mrs. Elizabeth Crowder. Thank you so much for inviting students at CMS to participate.
Thank you to CMS and Ms. Bennett. Thank you to the parents and to the students. What a wonderful opportunity with a full house tonight. At this time, Clint Bond from Communications will make the next few introductions.
Mrs. Jackson, members of the board, Dr. Scribner, our student greeters this evening were from the Army JROTC unit at Pascal High School, where Dr. Terry Mossage is the principal. Because we had such a full house, they relinquished their seats and they've already left. But let's recognize them anyway. Next, we will recognize an outstanding group of parents from SS Dillo Elementary. Ladies, if you would please stand as I call your name and remain standing. Sophia Torres, Ana Perez, Carla Perez, Fabiola Zendejas. These are extremely active parent volunteers who always lend helping hands in promoting academics, family events, and motivating students. They have provided immeasurable support to the school and collectively have volunteered hundreds of hours. On any given day, you can find them shelving books in the library, providing incentives and appreciation items for campus scholars and staff, chaperoning field trips, supporting teachers in the classroom, doing bulletin boards, making copies, and serving as room parents, and assisting with a host of programs including Muffins for Mom, Donuts for Dads, and other parent engagement activities. When asked to sum up what this group means to the staff and students, Principal Erica Moody said, "They are true team players who partner with us in all we do. They are always willing to help with a welcoming and positive attitude, and they ensure we keep children first in everything we do." So it is with pride that we present Sophia Torres, Ana Perez, Carla Perez, and Fabiola Zendejas with a certificate of appreciation for family engagement. Thank you.
Our final formal presentation and recognition will be presented by Trustee Jacinto Ramos.
Thank you, President Jackson and colleagues. Wanted to take an opportunity to recognize Louis Tejerina and our NHI students, which might be running late or stuck in traffic or trying to park. So at this time, if it's okay with you, I'd like to ask Louis to come up and address the microphone and kind of explain what NHI has been doing in the last 12 months.
Hello, board members. Good evening. So last year I came up to you all and we kind of highlighted what we had done during our first year with the National Hispanic Institute. So after our second year with the National Hispanic Institute, our first year we had eight freshmen from the district, and this year we doubled and had almost 20 students. And so our freshmen that we had go through a debate competition. So we teach leadership to young individuals, and we teach them through experiential learning, through doing. And these students, when I came last year, I talked about starting a community organization. And this year, I can successfully say that we've done it. We started in 3 high schools, and now we're in about 6 high schools, and we're looking to grow this year. And the way that we do it is all through volunteers. Our kids, they come back every year, the freshmen and sophomores. And so if it's okay with y'all, I'd like to invite 2 of the students to come up. One freshman, Ruth Aguilera, and a sophomore, so that Irving Mendez, so that they can talk about their experience and what they go through, because they're the ones that are learning it. This year we started our coaches, and we divide them into 4 different departments. We've got community development, that we're going to be a community-facing organization working with the community. We've got an operations team that handles all of our operations. We've got a training team that trains the kids on how to debate. And then we've got a curriculum staff that invites all the kids throughout the community, throughout Fort Worth ISD and Arlington, to be a part of our organization. So I'd like to invite those 2 individuals to come up to the mic to kind of explain their experience that they went through this past summer, and also as coaches. So Irving and Ruth, if you guys could come up.
Hello, my name's Irving Mendez. I'm from South Hills High School. I've been doing this program for about 3 years now, starting off freshman year as a participant, and at my sophomore year training the next year's freshmen. And I remember speaking to the board last year and how great that opportunity was, meeting all of you. And I just want to say thank you for allowing NHI to happen and giving me the opportunity to do what I do every Sunday at Pascal. And looking back, I remember thinking, as a coach, like, I don't know how am I going to talk to these kids. Like, do I say, "Hi, my name's Irving Mendez," or do I approach them a different way, more friendly, more chill? And working with the senior staff, working with Louis, it's taught me a lot of things on how to be more open, how to be more social, getting connections with the community, getting connections with kids and parents. And without the program, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I could be home doing many other things, but no, I'm using my time to give back to the community that's brought me here, and I just want to spread that to the freshmen, so that when they come to speak to the board, they can say they can tell you the same story of when they were freshmen and they were participants, or when they were coaches. And I had the great chance to work with Ruth as a participant in my category, extemporaneous speaking, and watching her develop as every week went by, it was an amazing process. And seeing her go to the programs up in Sherman, it was a eye-opening experience for me to see what my influence and my hard work, has done to show her how to speak in front of people, how to really present. And there's a lot to say, but it was such a great honor to be a part of NHI, and thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruth, and I'm from Pascal High School. And my experience with NHI can be very different because he is one of the original students that did develop everything with Louie and all of them. But what I have learned a lot and what made me grow with this program was leadership. I didn't really know where and when to use my leadership skills. I was kind of shy sometimes. I didn't have the path like now. The Great Debate was a good way for me to know when I can use my leadership skills, how and in what way. Another thing that NHI has helped me a lot is in the Latino community. I really didn't know a lot about the community. When I got in NHI, I basically wanted to show my face more and to know more about the community. I wasn't really knowing that this was a big, important thing, that this would impact anybody else. But now that I'm recruiting other freshman students, it's actually making me open my eyes and be like, well, this is actually going to impact someone later on in the future. And I believe that this is something big that's happening that's just barely starting. And I'm very thankful for you guys that you guys are making NHI be more known and to be seen more. Because without this, I don't think we would be in the place, that we are right now. So with that, I did learn a lot in the Great Debate. It made me grow. And I want to make other students have that experience. So, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Great job, Ruth. So I had asked Louis and NHI to come back as they had done last year, but also to kind of highlight the growth that 1 year does for young people and being able to witness them. And as election season had come around, they hosted, what was it called, Rudy?
Well,
I
we
mean, I'm
coined
sorry,
it
Lou.
as Cowtown Clásico.
Right.
And so what we did this year is every year we've kind of have a different goal. And last year our goal was really to get the kids more involved with the community. And, one of our alums, she had said, why don't you get the kids to interview some of the people running for school board? And I know some of you all were there, and working with young kids, it's great because they're millennials and they say, hey, let's put it on YouTube, let's put it live, let's make it go viral. And it was a lot of fun because when you give the kids the learning domain, they go off with it and they create their own ways. And so I just wanted to thank you all, give you guys an update on what we're doing, and let you know that we've created that community organization and that leadership academy here at Fort Worth ISD. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Louis. And then just to remind everyone, everyone at NHI, they're all volunteers. So Louis is volunteering his time in addition to having gone back to school and having a full-time career. Thank you and all the staff for all the work you're doing. Thank you, young people, for coming out and demonstrating great leadership. We thank you. Thank you, President Jackson.
Thank you so much, Trustee Ramos, and thank you all for speaking, but most importantly, thank you for doing what you're doing. It's giving back for this city. Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Scribner to speak briefly about Lone Star governance.
Thank you very much, President Jackson, members of the Fort Worth school community. Aligned with our commitment to Lone Star governance, tonight's report addresses the goal progress measures under our first goal, which is early literacy and third grade reading. In order to have our students read in third grade, that is a challenge that we must face and address across the continuum, from birth to the 0 to 3 space, to preschool, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade. Tonight's goal progress measure addresses second and third grade student utilization of our literacy monitoring system. You'll remember that on September of last year, the board approved our new literacy monitoring system, Achieve 3000. It was mid-October when teachers received their first training on the new literacy monitoring system, and those data you will see in this report. They are reflective of one semester, half a year of implementation. This goal progress measure looks at our second and third grade student utilization, although it is a system that addresses all students K through 12. The baseline data provides an understanding of where we began, our work and identifies a great opportunity for improvement as we currently engage in our first full year of implementation. With that, I'll turn it over to our Chief Academic Officer, Charlie Carroll.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present again this evening. Goal Progress Measure 1.2, it reads as follows: the percent of students in grades 2 and 3 achieving 75% or higher on Fort Worth ISD standard of 2 weekly lessons in our progress monitoring system for reading. So what that means is it's 2 percentages. Percentages of students who went in and did 2 lessons a week, and also a percentage of students who scored 75% or better on those. And so it's really 2 separate measures that we're looking at. And as we pursue this over the next few minutes, that's how we're going to approach it. I'm going to turn the microphone over in just a minute to Sarah Arispe so she can walk through a lot of the data. And KHR Bradford will also be addressing the board about instructional strategies and work that we're doing at the campus level. Also with us this evening are Karen Molinar and Sherry Breed, who play important roles in the work that we're trying to do as well. So Sarah, I'll go ahead and turn over the presentation to you so we can start with the data.
Okay, thank you. Let's look first at 1.2a. So as Mr. Carroll said, we're going to look at this in 2 parts. The first part we're going to look at is the percentage of students in 2nd and 3rd grade who completed 2 lessons a week. Our baseline year of implementation, as Dr. Scribner indicated, was last year, and so basically students got started in the spring semester. So for 2017, this represents a semester's worth of data, and 22% of students in grades 2 and 3 completed 2 lessons a week or more. We have a goal of 29% for this 2018 school year and 37% for 2019 as we gain in our usage of our system. We've also broken those data down for you so that you can see it by grade level. This was a question the board had last week. You'll notice here that 2nd graders, about 11% of the students completed 2 or more lessons a week, and as compared to 32% at 3rd grade. 2nd graders are unique in our system because they have access both to the instructional component of the progress monitoring system, where they do 2 lessons a week, but they can also work in the phonemic awareness part as a supplemental support. And last year was our first year, and we think that 2nd grade teachers may have thought they needed to pick one or the other, and we've provided some additional clarity that we'll talk about how they are able to do both. So we expect those 2nd grade numbers to go up as 2nd graders are routinely using the system, as well as the 3rd grade numbers for this year. This next slide shows these data broken out by race and ethnicity, and you'll notice in each category, as well as economic disadvantage, ELL, and special ed, that the 3rd grade numbers are higher. And again, that's because of 2nd grade having 2 options, and so we've clarified that this year.
Okay, so this program, our progress monitoring tool, utilizes electronics. And so in response to some of the usage challenges, both the district and campuses have increased technology resources so that students have more opportunities for access. The district purchased 51 Chromebook carts in January of 2017 and distributed those first to our improvement required campuses. Our Division of Technology also provided 293 iPads for the IR schools, and at the beginning of this school year, the district purchased an additional 40 Chromebook carts. So those are flexible carts that can be moved between grade levels to accommodate multiple student access. Over the same time period, school and campus leadership purchased additional desktops and laptop computers, as well as iPads using their local funds. With these additions, at the elementary level, we are currently at a ratio of 1 device per 7 students or better, so that's phenomenal. To support our schools, we designed and developed and distributed and shared these schedules with principals, content area schedules, utilizing the balanced literacy approach to maximize learning time. Daily time is allotted for whole group, small group, and individual practice. This gives schools the time needed to implement the 5-step literacy routine with fidelity. This is also integrated in social studies and science, so that literacy does not just take place in the ELA or the SLAR classroom. And time is built into the pacing calendar for students to utilize their program. Structure and
Is it
schedules.
possible that you could enlarge the reading? We can't read this on the paper nor this on the,
Yes, it
screen.
is. Yes, that's definitely
So
possible.
would
It's
you,
actually a PDF
enlarge
document.
that?
Yes, we can.
thank you.
You're welcome. So the schedule, that's kind of an example of what it looks like, but it gives the guidance to the teacher as well as to the principal for what happens in whole group, in small group, and in individual learning opportunities for additional practice. And also tiering students for extension, intervention, and on-level work.
Did you enlarge it? No, but say a thing about it.
It's actually 5 or 6 pages. It's a PDF document that outlines pre-K through second grade or K through 2 for literacy and social studies, and then it goes through mathematics. So we can share that.
Audience can't read it.
So I think we will send that as a follow-up. It's a multi-page document that you could have the entire copy of, if that would be easier for you to read.
And it would also be good if the audience could read it.
Yes, definitely. This is a screenshot. And what you see on the left are actually classroom room arrangements. And then on the right is an example of what would happen during whole group, small group, and individual practice. But I agree.
I'm going to move on to 1.2B, and this is the percent of students that are achieving at the 75% or higher on our new progress monitoring system. Again, for the implementation year, our percent of students is fairly low, 8% of second and third grade students. We obviously want this to go up, and by providing the additional structure and clarity that Ms. Bradford just spoke about in how this instructional resource can be used in the classroom as a part of the core literacy instruction, we're already seeing changes in the classrooms as teachers are responding to and using this resource to improve student learning outcomes and incorporating it as a component of their instruction. This is a breakdown of the second and third grade students by grade level. So second grade, third grade equaled that 8% for the baseline year with the 1 semester of implementation. And this is a breakdown by race, ethnicity, and then economic disadvantaged groups, as well as ELL and special ed. As we're well aware, in looking at our STAR data, our reading scores for our African American students have been significantly lower, and we're seeing that same pattern in this slide. We are pleased to see teachers making changes in the classroom about how they're utilizing the tool, and so we anticipate that that percentage for African American will increase along with the other. And in response to that, campus administrators, as well as our executive directors in school leadership, are actively monitoring and providing support during the literacy block to ensure that students are having a rich experience. They've included this as a part of their campus educational improvement plan, and you just see a screenshot of their template that the campuses use to set their campus goals. So leaders are monitoring in the classroom and looking for that rich experience in teacher-led discussion with an opinion poll before and after reading, having that online reading on grade level text at each student's reading level, and then responding in writing to a thought question following the reading, and teachers leading discussion to allow students to integrate their ideas and generalize the information they learned during their reading as a part of instruction. Keeping the focus on student outcomes, we did have last year some high points in our implementation. Even though we only had 1 semester worth of data, we had some students, over 1,600 students, who completed 2 or more activities per week and scored at the 75% or higher, our goals. Those students that did that had an average Lexile gain of 195 points. And that's very close to a target and a challenge that our superintendent issued for all students to gain 200 Lexile points. So we're happy to see, even with the first year of implementation, we had some students that met and exceeded that mark. We also saw good percentage of students in one semester move into the college and career ready level. So our initial score when we started the screener was 10% college and career ready. At the end of the year measure, we had 16%. And that ties not only to our goal 1, but also to the board goal 3 about college and career readiness.
So our team, in partnership with Professional Learning and Innovation, multilingual programs, curriculum and instruction, and assessment and data quality, are providing ongoing professional learning for all teachers. Our literacy programs are focusing on small group guided reading, phonics, the writing process, and analysis of oral reading proficiency. Additionally, we have a focus on our IR schools who are participating in the structured primary literacy program, phonics, with principals and assistant principals also going through a literacy leadership cohort, as well as their instructional specialists. So they're engaging with that throughout the year. Our learning model provides a framework for student-centered learning, collaboration, and culturally relevant learning. Our learning model, which we adopted this year, it provides everyday experiences that connects all learning in our district model. Starting with the first phase, the challenge. As we know, expository text is a challenge for our students based on historical STAR data. When thinking about college and career readiness, expository text is a focus for the job industry, especially the medical field, aviation, computer science. Technical reading and writing skills are essential as students prepare for the workforce. So students engage in the research and creation phase as they utilize the technology to find and read these expository articles, take the surveys, and post their written responses. Communication, which is the third phase of our model, communication of their learning is done in writing and through discussion with peers and their teachers. Finally, students and teachers have the opportunity to reflect and grow the last phase of our learning model through formative assessment, the stretch articles, data review, and goal setting. Most recently, in partnership with our Office of Equity and Excellence under the leadership of Sherry Breed, the C&I team has completed 3 days of culturally responsive instructional coaching and 2 days of beyond diversity coaching. This work guides us to connect the learning model with the 4 R's of culturally relevant pedagogy. Our literacy block and the progress monitoring tool meet the needs of student learning by individualizing literacy experiences based on the student's reading level. For example, relevance is seen in the topics of the expository text, such as articles focused on hurricanes, which is a current, very recent to our Texas community. So they're able to read about relevant articles about real-life experiences. We connect our work within the curriculum to foster deep learning, creativity, critical thinking, and cultural relevance. So this is new to Fort Worth ISD, are the 4 R's of culturally responsive, relevant teaching. This directly supports our work to better differentiate for our diverse student populations. As you can see in the data, we have to be purposeful and intentional to ensure high levels of learning for all students. The components of relevance, which is the curriculum relates to students' experiences and interests, relationships, which are teachers and students have that reciprocal community feeling, realness, which is students and teachers are authentic and allow for critical inquiry, and rigor. Classes clearly and consistently have high expectations for work. All within our learning model and through professional learning of teachers and leaders will bring us to reach our district goals for improved primary literacy outcomes.
In conclusion, we would like to thank the board for your support in moving us forward and assisting us in meeting student goals, and we'd be happy to participate in a conversation and provide any clarifications that we can as this report draws to a close.
Trustee Robbins, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you, President Jackson. The slide that showed the classroom design, was that just prototype, or was that one of our classrooms by any chance?
That's actually through the work that we partner with Engage to Learn, and we really looked at what do 21st century learning designs need to look like. And so that gives an example for us in just moving tables so that students can collaborate, moving chairs within our existing structure, how we can design our classrooms environments.
So we are moving ahead with that kind of thing. I know the slide that we saw on that will be shown later on the VPA STEM has that same kind of approach, which I think is terrific. But in the meantime, I'd like for all of our schools to be able to have that kind of environment if possible. So you're saying that?
So would we.
Okay.
And if I may, President Jackson, members of the board, Mr. Robbins, the next presentation with I.M. Terrell and the furniture that you'll be seeing in that presentation, that was part of the 2013 bond. As part of the package, penny swap and bond election, instructional furniture and creating those kind of collaborative instructional settings is part of the 2017 bond package, should the voters choose to support it.
Will it be able to encompass all the schools?
That is the plan, absolutely.
Wonderful,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
It is interesting, though, Mr. Robbins, that there are building principals and leadership teams in the district currently that are being very creative with some of those classroom configurations. I'll name one. We were working with Omar Ramos at Trimble Tech and going in and out of his classrooms for an afternoon last Thursday. And there is an amazing flexibility and creativity in how they're meeting student needs for collaboration, communication, different classroom configurations. And I think you can really tell a difference in the learning environment. And that has been without a lot of expenditures. That's just, I think, what he called warehouse creativity, going in and finding what he needed.
And I would hope we'd encourage all our principals to do the same thing. Let's don't wait till we actually get new furniture and tables and things, but let's proceed as fast as we can in that area. And I think that'll really help inspire students and also teachers. I also wanted to ask if it'd be possible. I personally would like to have some more information on Smarty Ants and Access 3000 and things of that sort. When we attended the state convention this weekend, there were discussions about those areas, and I didn't really personally have much information, and I would very much welcome that. I know that it's being rolled out incrementally. I'd like to also know how that's being rolled out and the time frame involved, and you may have shared that with us in the past, but I can't recall. And so if that could be done, I would be very grateful.
That's great. We're well into implementation on both of those programs.
Wonderful. And any others that you think we should know about? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robbins. Ms. Moss?
Thank you, President Jackson. I just want to say the report, it's very good information, and thank you for the report. I have a couple of comments. I can't tell you the page because we still don't have these page numbers on here. But the college and career readiness, I thought that was a real good result, from 10% to 16%. And I'm going to ask the same question I asked before about Achieve 3000. You told me last meeting that you were going to check to ensure the board that Achieve 3000 had no other technical problems. You know, before students were unable to use Achieve 3000 in some of the schools because of technology. So I'm here again asking the question, who did the monitoring and who can ensure me that all schools have access to Achieve 3000 wherever the schools are? Which one?
We're all nodding. I think it's a team answer, definitely working with school leadership, our technology, our chief of academics, that in every single way possible, all students have access, all students have technology, classrooms and campuses are equipped.
Yes, they do, but they don't work all the time. They're not, it's intermittently. And students do lose time, and I said that before, and you know I've asked this question since August. Because when school was out last year, we were having real difficulty in some of the elementary schools accessing Achieve 3000. So I just want someone to give us a report on where we are. And it might not be now, but we do need a report.
I think we can expand on some of the technology information we provided you and work with Mr. Davy to make sure that you get the full information you want.
Thank you, so that when I do visit the schools and visit the program, they're not down. Okay.
Thank you, Trustee Moss. Trustee, do you have another question?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's not a question, it's a compliment for, now I have to get this right. You don't have to do that. It's about you.
Thank you.
Chris Bell from Spring ISD
Yes.
said you are a wonderful person, and that he was very upset with me because we took you away. And so he said a lot of great things about you, and I saw him this weekend at the Tassa Tasby.
Thank you. I'll pay him later.
Okay.
Trustee Moss. Trustee Dr. Ann Sutherland.
Thank you, President Jackson. First of all, I want to thank staff for sending these outcome measures that I asked for. They satisfy what I wanted to know specifically, and I do appreciate it. And I have a couple other comments. I think this is all very interesting. Do you do your own PowerPoints? Who does your PowerPoints for you?
I would describe them as a collaborative effort between the three of us.
Okay, well, I just wondered if they were done, I was thinking that if they were done by our PR department, I know that's not the right word, I'm sorry, Mrs. Moffett, but we could have an easier time making sure they have papers on it. The only other thing I have to say is, I read this off the schedule this morning, and you put this in this afternoon, which is why I couldn't find it. And I don't need any more information than that. I don't know if anybody else does. I think we got plenty of information. So finally, I was really interested in the increase in the Lexile scores, but you haven't translated those into grade equivalents. And as you know, I finally figured out how to find out what the Lexile score to grade equivalence was. It took me 10 seconds. I typed in Lexile to grade equivalence in my window and pushed enter, and I got a whole forest of them. So from now on, when you present Lexile equivalence, I would like you to give an estimate of the grade level change. I don't know what it is with the 275, but I asked for that when we brought Chief 3000 on board, and it was implied that it wasn't available. And in fact, one of the sheets I sent to your office has showed that there were 700 studies on this and that they all pointed to the same result. So I really do appreciate your getting the data on where do these come from. When you come up with a metric that no one's ever heard of before, it doesn't, if I may say, it doesn't have any credibility to me. But when you back it up with the sources, to me, that's a whole different story. And it's fine with me if you put them in the footnotes. I don't need a big announcement of it, but we need to have citation. So if you could remember to put the page numbers on it. I don't know who signs off on it last. Apparently, I always think I never like collaborative efforts. I've done some, but I never liked them. But the thing is, to me, up here, when you have a collaborative effort, it means nobody's responsible.
Let's just
Okay.
blame me. All right, we'll
Okay.
get the page numbers on it. No
All right.
problem.
I didn't mean to call you out.
No, it's okay.
But
It's all right.
I am glad to hear more from you. And I want you to know that I appreciate very much the progress we're making. I think it's real. In fact, I know it's real because I checked the correlation between these scores and the STAR test, and I checked the STAR text. Those are real numbers. They relate to the real world. They aren't fudged. So as far as I'm concerned, we're on the right track.
Thank you.
If you just get the page numbers down.
Often heard her say that something's not fudged, so I would say that's a supreme compliment.
I guess it's kind of negative.
No, I thought it was pretty good, actually. Trustee Libanos.
Thank you, President Jackson. Thank you for this report. And I'm like Mr. Robbins, this weekend, they talk about Achieve 3000. We're like, well, we're not really sure what's Achieve 3000. Is Achieve 3000 also in Spanish or just in English?
It is. It's in both English and Spanish.
And not every student has access?
Students have access to Achieve 3000 in grades 2 and above. And for kinder, first and second grade, as well as pre-K, students have access to Smarty Ants, which is a phonemic awareness and phonics program. So letter sounds, they practice their letters and the sounds the letters make in sort of a game format.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Moss?
We still don't have the breakout of the schools and the scores yet, do we? It's too early in October.
We do not have the taper report that you're thinking of comes out in November.
Oh, it's November.
It is. I
Okay.
don't know that they've announced a specific date. In my mind, I usually remember it's around Thanksgiving. So if we get it right before, then I'm pleased. And if not, I know that it'll come right after.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I said October before.
Thank you all. Next, we have a report and a presentation from I Am Terrell Academy for STEM and a VPA update. Dr. Scribner?
Thank you very much, President Jackson, members of the board, and Fort Worth ISD School community. You will remember, better than I, because I wasn't here in 2013, that one of the centerpieces of the 2013 bond program was the I Am Terrell Academy for VPA and STEM. And we were on schedule, working very hard to complete that project. And then we had a wonderful opportunity to be responsive to our parents and community. And I want to thank this board and thank our leadership team for listening to the parents of our students. In fact, several of our leadership team members actually went to one of the association meetings at Butler Housing. And we heard the parents who asked us to allow their elementary school students to finish the 2016-17 school year before they moved to their new elementary school, the new Van Zant Gwynn Elementary, also completed as part of the 2013 bond. By listening to our parents and accommodating their requests, we were provided with time and opportunity to thoroughly plan out a top-quality school program focused both on visual and performing arts, as well as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and both programs supported by a strong humanities-focused curriculum. I am confident this will be a sterling institution and representative of one of the top high schools, not only in the city of Fort Worth, but in the region. At this time, I'd like to introduce the new principal of I Am Terrell Academy for VPA and STEM, and our chief of secondary schools, Dr. Cherie Washington, and the principal, Ricky Brown.
Thank you, Dr. Scribner, President Jackson, and the board. I'm very honored and appreciative of the opportunity to continue representing us as a district and bring the I Am Terrell High School back to its former glory. Today I'm just going to be sharing and giving you an update on the legacy of I Am Terrell. And I Am Terrell legacy actually started in 1882 as one of the first African-American schools in Fort Worth. I Am Terrell actually served as principal from 1882 to 1915, and in 1921, the school was renamed in his honor, I Am Terrell High School. The doors to the school closed in 1973 and was again reopened in 1998 as the elementary school, and we are now looking to bring back I Am Terrell Academy for STEM and VPA for the 2018-2019 school year, which we will start with a 9th grade and have 200 students. Some of the greats that have come from I Am Terrell includes Hazel Harvey Peace and Mr. J. Martin Jacquet. And these individuals have gone on to produce many leaders that have reshaped our global economy, and our city here in Fort Worth. And I am very honored to be walking in the footsteps of these leaders. My journey actually started in Jamaica. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I'm the youngest of 8, and in my teenage years, my family migrated to Canada, where I finished school, got a scholarship to attend the University of Maine, met my lovely wife, who was a Texan, so I moved here to Texas, and in 2000, started my career in education and impact the lives of our students here in Fort Worth ISD. And I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to be the principal of I Am Terrell, but I've also served as the principal of J. Martin Jacquet Middle School as well. Some of the great leaders that have come out of I Am Terrell includes Ornette Coleman, Veda Phillips Felder, and Robert McDaniel, among others. I am truly honored that we are cherishing the past. However, we cannot lose sight of the future. And I'm very excited to have the opportunity to bring the next generation of leaders that will be coming out of I Am Terrell and Fort Worth ISD. Our vision will be to create a learning environment that will develop and nurture artistic talent, creative thinkers, and innovative problem solvers who will change the global landscape for generations to come. And our motto is uniquely designed with students in mind. There are 3 areas we're going to be focusing on at I Am Terrell: visual and performing arts, humanities, and STEM. The board truly committed to excellence when they passed the 2013 bond to reopen this school. And not only did the board commit to reopening the school and remodel the historic building, but they also invested in adding a 65,000 square feet visual performing arts center. And this will allow our students to truly compete and be on par with other schools in the state and in the nation. There are 4 areas that we're focusing on as we're designing the school: schedules, innovative learning spaces, learning experiences, curriculum, and instruction. Our schedules will allow students and teachers time where they can get in depth with the teaching and learning that will be taking place in the classrooms. We've also included assembly and advisory period, brain breaks, and study breaks to help foster our students' social, emotional, and academic needs on this campus. Our innovative learning spaces are going to be put in place to really provide a collaborative learning environment. One of the things we believe on this campus is that learning shouldn't just take place in the classroom. We want our students to be able to go in the hallways, in the patio areas, anywhere on the campus, and know that learning can take place. In our learning experiences, we want to provide a learning experience for our students to where they're comfortable and confident in expressing their gifts and talents and not feel ashamed of who they are. Our STEM strands at the Academy will include science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And our VPA strands will include dance, music, theater arts, and visual arts. And our humanities focus will be one with an interdisciplinary and high college rigor that will pull our STEM and VPA courses together. We're going to be looking at identifying teachers who are dual certified and can teach social studies and ELA together. We're also going to be looking at teachers who can do AP courses or dual credit courses for this campus. So, what will students walk away from I Am Terrell with? They will be college ready, whether that is attending Harvard, MIT, TCU, UT, or Texas Southern. Our goal is to ensure that every single student will be college-ready to attend a university or college in this country. We're also going to ensure that our students are career-ready. So if they choose to pursue a career in the engineering field or in the fine arts field, our goal, our job will be to ensure that those students are exposed and have the opportunities presented to them while they're at IM Terrell. And last but not least, we're going to make sure our students are community leadership ready to go back out into their communities and serve, and also leave a true lasting legacy and a global impact on our society. Thank you.
President Jackson, board members, I just wanted to say, you see Mr. Brown jumped in very eager. I was going to introduce that he has hit the road running. He has already visited several schools with the very best VPA and STEM academies. He's visited Grand Prairie in their STEM academy. He has visited Downview in Dallas. He has visited New Tech. He is scheduled to attend the art school in the conference in Minnesota. And I believe he'll be joining Dr. Scribner to visit the coding academy in Arizona. So he is eager and ready for the job.
Yes, ma'am.
If there are any questions, comments, or suggestions from the board at this time, we'd be happy to entertain those.
Hearing none, I want to say thank you. Dr. Sutherland?
I did one. This is
Sure.
really out of order. But I bet there's a couple of board members that would like to go to the Coding Academy, too. I'm really interested, and I don't know anything about it, and I feel it's probably our most underutilized skill. And, you know, were you here the first day of school where they had the
Yes,
speaker?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And I don't know, I hate to invite myself. Maybe some other board members would like to go with me. I don't do that very often.
Sounds
but-
like fun.
Yeah, right. I don't know if it'll be fun or not, but I bet I learned something.
And then I'll wrap it up again.
Say thank you. When
Go ahead and-
I was in high school, many of my friends lived in Butler, and I spent so many nights and weekends on the back porch of IM Terrell, watching the sunset. And I'm going to tell you, that school means something to all of us, but it has a special memory to me, and I'm so excited you're going to be there, and I love the raw enthusiasm. So thank you, and I'll look forward to seeing all of my friends when this opens next fall.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And President Jackson, before we close this portion, it is going to be a phenomenal building, school. You can see it from the freeway overlooking downtown. And actually, IM Terrell was the visual inspiration for this year's annual report. We will be debuting the annual report on Friday at our State of Education luncheon with the Chamber, and that is actually the elevation of the design on the cover, so wanted to make sure you got a copy of those. So that concludes our report.
Thank you all so much, and at this time, we'd like to take a very short break of about 2 to 3 minutes so any students can exit and go home and do their homework. And anybody else that would like to stretch, you can do that at this time. So we'll resume in about 2 minutes.
Great job.
At this time, we're at number 6 on our agenda, which is public comment. At this time, we will hear public comment. Let me remind you that because of restrictions by the Texas Open Meetings Act, board members may not engage in verbal exchange about a subject that has not been posted. We will listen and we will take notes, but the board is prohibited from responding to any inquiries made during a board meeting on any topic not posted on the agenda. However, the board may reply with 1, a statement of specific factual information given in response to the inquiry. 2, recitation of existing policy in response to this inquiry. Or 3, direct the person to visit with staff about the issue. While this board listens to concerns of a general nature and issues of common and individual concern, the board will not hear complaints about specific individual employees or public officers during the public comment session. Speakers shall refrain from mentioning names of individual employees or public officers during their comments. Any employee, parent, or other member of the public is asked to comply with the appropriate grievance policy to have a complaint heard pursuant to the applicable board policy. In accordance with board policy BED local, speakers shall have a 3-minute time limit. Please observe this rule. Furthermore, a speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another speaker. Delegations of 5 or more persons shall appoint 1 person to present their views before the board with the time not to exceed 5 minutes. At this time, I'll call 2 speakers down at once. Please take this podium and this podium, and we'll do so as we have 15 different speakers. Dr. Robert Rogers and Mr. Stephen Poole.
My turn. President Jackson, board members, thank you for allowing me to speak. I am a 100 by 25 community literacy advocate. I'm here to present some numbers to you and ask for your help. On the page that says overflow on the top, you will see my name and my email address. The request I give you, the information can come to that email address. On the first, all of this information I'm going to show you is in the public-facing data that you can get on the readfortworth.org data dashboard. I've been to many presentations and been with many of you at presentations. I am going to present some data in a different way using actual numbers as opposed to percentages. They're both valuable, but I find numbers to be more motivating because each one of the numbers on this sheet to me represents an individual student. So on your first table, where you see District 1 through 9, in each of your districts, those are the numbers of students that improved from 2016 to 2017 in terms of third grade reading proficiency. So you see there's a total of 168 better performance in terms of numbers, which averages about 2 students per school, since we have 82 schools in the system. On your next page, you're going to see the district snapshot from the Read Fort Worth. You'll see that we're at 33% reading proficiency. And I call your attention to the little box. This is a screenshot, and that little rectangular box to the lower right where it says Fort Worth ISD, I find this incredibly valuable, and it is a bit hidden. You need to put your cursor over data points, and that pop-up will come up, and it will give you the numbers of students represented as opposed to just showing the percentages. So using that data, going to your next page, the number of not proficient readers by year in these 6 years that are shown on that data dashboard. You see we're averaging about 4,800 students per year not reaching the level of proficient reading from 2012 to 2017. It's a little bit confusing in the way I presented this, and the delta of either improvement or falling back. Negative numbers mean there are fewer non-proficient readers. So negative numbers are good, positive numbers are unfortunate. The next 2 sheets are graphs of individual campus performance. I'm going to skip those unless there are questions from you later at another time when we meet. The last table, non-proficient students added to the community. This is assuming the 8% improvement per year that would be required for us to meet the 100 by 25 goal. If you just look at where we are now, look at where we have to be at 100 by 25, we have to improve 8% per year. Now that 8% translates to 544 students per year. 544. So we had 200 improvement through our system that we have now. We have 300 in the leadership academies that could be served by reading partners. My request of you, share your networks with me. I want to recruit volunteers from you. We need to pour it on right now to add that.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Rogers. Norm Quigley, if you would come forward, and Mr. Poole, you're up.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson, members of the board, and Dr. Scribner. I'm Stephen Poole with UEA. And tonight, actually today, kicks off National School Lunch Week. And we should really be celebrating the hardworking child nutrition employees that serve every day our students at our schools. Thank you for everything you do. They work hard every day, and they make a difference in student lives for every meal they serve. It's a crying shame, though, that in this district we're talking about outsourcing child nutrition services. You have a lot of long-time dedicated employees that are afraid. They're afraid for their jobs, their benefits, and their retirement. Now, I will give the superintendent credit. He has told them no jobs will be harmed. But when you spend decades of your career serving Fort Worth ISD in the schools, it makes you a little nervous to hear outsourcing. And to be honest, talking with them, they feel a little disrespected. They're told outsourcing is being looked at to improve participation in lunches and to improve food quality. And they take that as a professional affront. They have been giving ideas for improving participation in food quality, and they feel that it's being fallen on deaf ears. To outsource our child nutrition services is to admit failure as a district. I know these employees are not willing to admit failure. What this is a failure of leadership at the highest levels of this division. So we do not need to outsource child nutrition services. You have the experts that can tell you how they can improve if there's someone who is willing to listen to them. Let's find that someone who is willing to listen to them and show them the respect they deserve. They're dedicated every day for our employees, and they work very, very hard for you. Thank you very much.
Allison Pita, Alejandro Brasino. Allison Pita.
Hello, my name is Allison Pita. I have a first grader in Spanish immersion at Morningside Elementary. The program has been a great asset to Morningside, leaving students fluent in Spanish and bringing more parents to the school who have the time and resources to volunteer. This summer, I met with a district employee to discuss concerns I had with English language literacy, which is left up to the parents in the early grades of the program. I had several ideas of how we could support parents, keep them accountable, and make sure no child fell too far behind while in the program. It was made clear to me that a transition to dual language would happen eventually because of English literacy concerns, but mainly because the Spanish immersion program does not address the growing needs of English language learners and is not eligible for Title I funding. I was then told of the vision for dual language expansion and the addition of classes for bilingual students in middle and high schools. I was especially excited about the preference for immersion-style dual language instruction, with 2 teachers, one Spanish-speaking and one English, switching classes on alternate days or weeks. I've seen firsthand how immersion accelerates language acquisition, and I also think this model could help the district solve their shortage of bilingual teachers by using one bilingual teacher for 2 classrooms instead of one, as in the Gomez and Gomez method. I think other Spanish immersion parents and teachers would have embraced a plan to transition to dual language. Unfortunately, no plans have been presented as of yet. And with zero official communication, parents found out that the Spanish immersion program would no longer be offered at Morningside when the new choice catalog was released. We were left wondering what this means for our children currently in the program, and parents have been left to try to explain the situation to other parents, none of us knowing exactly how the transition will happen. And I had to inform my son's teacher. The teachers had no idea and are now wondering what the program transition will mean for their jobs next year. So in conclusion, I'm excited about the new direction of dual language, but disappointed in how this transition was handled. Thank you.
Thank you. Keisha White and Alejandro Brasino.
Yes. Hello, Fort Worth ISD board members. My name is Alejandra Briceño, and I'm a parent of a 5th and 3rd grader at Morningside Elementary. I'm not only an active parent in the Spanish immersion program, but an active parent in the school. And I stand in front of you today due to revelations of learning there will no longer be a Spanish immersion program at Morningside. Unfortunately, the discovery of the program ending came from going online to the Fort Worth ISD site and looking at the Gold Seals program and schools of choice location and not seeing Morningside as a choice for Spanish immersion. My heart dropped and so many emotions came up. I was not the only parent to be in shock and dismay. I would be honest and say I know this program has had its struggles in Fort Worth ISD, mainly financial since it is not state funded. Because of these struggles at both Morningside and Burton Hill, a parent from Burton Hill reached out to me in order to join forces to advocate for SIP. We and all SIP parents have wanted to strengthen this program and build on the achievements that these students have made since its inception. I and other SIP parents have witnessed the benefits our children have received, not just within their education, but also socially and culturally. These benefits, I believe, are essential in creating productive citizens, locally and globally. As stated earlier, we had hoped to work with Fort Worth ISD administration to make this program stronger and eventually find a way for Fort Worth ISD to provide opportunities for schools like Morningside to have children to be enriched in ways that is different from the traditional curriculum. Yes, I'm truly sad how the SIP has been handled at Morningside, but I have some hope the district will find a way to ensure these students continue to receive the opportunities this type of program offers, as well as give other students in the district the opportunity to receive the same benefits these students have received. When parents like myself made the decision to enroll children in the Spanish immersion program, we were asked to make a long-term commitment. I hope the district can return this long-term commitment to their teachers and students. And despite the end of SIP at Morningside, I will continue my commitment and support to the teachers, staff, and students at Morningside to ensure the district provides them the support, the resources they so richly deserve. Thank you.
White? Hi. Hey. Good evening to President Jackson, members of the board, and Superintendent Scribner. Hello again. So you know from which I speak. My name is Keisha White, and above everything, I am a parent. I am also here speaking on behalf of a very large group of supportive parents from the Paul Lawrence Dunbar Young Men's Leadership Academy. We are coming before you to address the proposed relocation of YMLA to be in close proximity to Dunbar High School in order to share athletic facilities, instead of having our own, which has always been communicated at the outset, which we expressly communicated. My family is a proud member of the YMLA Sugihara Pride. We have a 3.9 GPA, and we play basketball, and we have won numerous awards, state and district, in art. All decisions concerning YMLA directly impacts our family and my son's future. My son had a knee-jerk reaction when I told him the news about the relocation and the lack of athletic facilities that are proposed for YMLA. He immediately questioned me, and I had no answer. His questions were, why? Who thought that was a good idea? How is that going to work? They try to fight us. So you can imagine my concern as a parent. We parents at YMLA are vehemently opposed to having a new building absent of athletic facilities. YMLA continues to perform despite dire and dismal academic and physical circumstances. For example, our library has 92 empty shelves and 86 half-empty shelves, and with books that are below grade level. Nevertheless, we rose. You have our numbers. We've proven ourselves. We want to support the bond. We truly do, but not at the sacrifice of our sons and their athletic and academics. Their athletic and academic livelihoods. At the outset of these communications about YMLA's future, we always stated that we wanted a full and complete school that would fortify academics, athletics, and fine arts. For some reason, what our sons need and what we want has been deliberately discounted, it appears. Is that so? A relocation even closer to Dunbar would compromise the integrity and values of YMLA, which we parents hold dear, especially our single-sex dynamic. We question this course of action, particularly since Dunbar's population is supposed to increase from 850 to 1,350, as laid out in the facility's master plan. The only foreseeable way for this to happen is if YMLA moves next to that campus, as it is purported to be or supposed to be at 500 students. Hence, 850 plus 500 equals 1,350. It seems to be that Dunbar complex is on the horizon. Also, the Dunbar community is against the relocation as evidenced by their online petition.
Thank you, Ms. White. Connie Clement. Loman. Connie Clement and Cindy Loman.
Hello, board members. My name is Connie Clement. I'm a cafeteria manager at 161 Sam Rosen. You know, I'm a little nervous, so. When my kids were little and I needed to find a job, I needed to be home when they were home. I needed to be off when they were off. And the perfect job was the school cafeteria. I knew it'd be a great place to work, job security, retirement, and now I'm worried about my retirement, as we all are worried about our retirement. You know, and I don't know if y'all are aware that the kitchen staff, the employees, do not get paid in the summer, and we have a lot of employees here that keep coming back to work for the school cafeteria. They can find a job somewhere else, but they keep coming back because they love their job. We love our job. We want to keep our jobs. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't talk about, that we don't need to tell everybody. And I need to tell you a story that happened 2 weeks ago. I told a parent that his little pre-K student wants to buy ice cream. That young parent told me, he says, I don't have 50 cents to give her after I get paid. And you know what happens the next day? That student has money in her account. And when we told her that she had money to buy her ice cream, she said, yay, and she gave me a high five. She said, my daddy put money in my account. I said, yes, he did. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we do for our students because we love our students. We see them every day, and they're happy to see us too. So please consider us, consider our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Loman?
My name is Cindy Loman, and I've been a child nutrition Fort Worth ISD employee since 1988. I've been a manager at Carter Riverside High School since 1992. When I first started as a manager, I served about 500 meals a day, my staff and I together. That was breakfast and lunch combined. As the years went on and enrollment grew, so did our numbers. We have served over 300 at breakfast and up to 1,000 for lunch when campus is closed. In a kitchen where the freezer and the storage space was built for the 500 that I used to serve. When the warehouse would come and deliver our food, there was many times that they would have to take about half of my food back to the warehouse because I had no room to store it. And then once we emptied some of the freezer, I could go and pick it up in my car and bring it back to put it in the freezer so that we would have it to serve the kids. We had lots of boxes piled on equipment, piled in any empty corner that we could find, because the kitchen that we were in just was not built to store all of the food and equipment that we needed. But we still came to work every day. We still served our students every day. Once the warehouse was outsourced to C.D. Hartnett and Labatt, I no longer had the warehouse's help at times when the trucks came. So I would have to call on my neighboring schools and ask them if they could help store some of my food until I could empty the freezer enough to get it in there. Every time we had ice cream on the menu, I would have to send it to the middle school because I had no place to put the ice cream. And then once we had it on the menu, I would go pick it up in my car, bring it back so that we would have it there for the students. We just want you all to know a lot of things that we do it out of the love for the kids that are there. We come to work every day regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the trying times that we know we're going to have that day, whether we're working short, whether we don't have the food there that we need, whatever the situation is, and we make it happen. And we don't do this because it's our job. We do this because we love the students. We want to continue to do this. And we just ask for help with, lunch periods, with making sure that we have the equipment and making sure that we have the items that we need in our kitchens to continue feeding the kids. I was really hurt when I was told that they were thinking of outsourcing because the companies that they would hire, all they do is food service. Because honestly, I felt that's what I've been doing for 30 years. So we just ask that if you would please think about us and stop the RFP.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Irma Mora Rosa Alfaro.
Good afternoon. My name is Irma Mora. I'm working for 2001. I'm only 16 years, and I got my speech, but everything is going down. So I'm a KSB class breakfast in the classroom, and I got my story on September the 29th. I got short 2 ladies, and it was packing the milk, packing juice, and prepare everything. So it was 8 employees. So it was only 6. It was only 6 preparing breakfast, do everything ready for lunch and everything. It was running everybody. So it was rushed. So I can invite us to your school, my school, to go and visit us. I got 3 cars for the KSB, put it on the front or put it in the back for the ovens, go and cook everything. So it's a space, a small space. And all the kids, they're happy because all their menu, they're changed this year. And I think this is a good opportunity if they can help us to see if the kids like it, because it's a good food. I got 2 children, and they're already in college, and I tell her this one, they already come in and do this horses. So bring a company, and maybe it's gonna be cheap food, not a good food like you home, but it's gonna be cheap. Why? Because saving money, or why? I don't know why. But I think you got the answer, why it's gonna bring a new company. I love my job. When I sign, I'm sorry, but I'm nervous. When I sign in for, make my application, because I love my job, I like my kids, I like everything. I'm worried for my like Ms. Connie say, TRS and my benefits and everything. But now yesterday, it was the superintendent over there at the meeting, and it was a rumor. First, it was a proposal, when Mr. Cavazos said it was a proposal first, and then it was a rumor, and then, nothing to worry about it, but now I'm worried because I like my job. I want to keep my job, and I think everybody want to keep their jobs. And they love the kids. They love the kids. And and if they don't speak Spanish, if they don't speak English, they hope the kids. I hope the kids. My Spanish and my English is not good, pretty good, but I try to learn a lot. But thank you so much for helping us. And please, please don't bring the companies, or we're gonna do our jobs good. Good. Thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Mi nombre es Rosa Alfaro.
My name is Rosa Alfaro.
Soy cafetería manager de Oakers Elementary.
I'm the cafeteria manager of Oakers Elementary.
Yo tengo trabajando 24 años en el distrito de Fort Worth.
I have been working 24 years for the district.
De los cuales 20 he sido mayordoma de las cafeterías.
20 of them, I have been the manager of the cafeterias.
Yo trabajo en las cafeterías porque yo amo mi trabajo.
I work in the cafeterias because I love my job.
Amo trabajar para los niños con dedicación y respeto.
I love working for the kids respectfully.
Y con dedicación todos los días
And
hago mi
dedication,
trabajo.
every day I do my work.
Quiero compartir con ustedes
I want to share with you
que tengo familia trabajando en el distrito de Crowley.
that I have family members working in the Crowley district.
Con una mala experiencia cuando una de estas outsourcing compañías
And I have a bad experience with one of these outsourcing companies.
comenzó a operar en el distrito de Crowley.
Start working in Crowley district.
Una de las cosas que he escuchado de ellos es menos salario para los empleados existentes.
One of the things that I can hear is the lower salary.
No se respetó la señoría de todos los empleados.
They didn't respect the years working for all the employees.
Baja calidad a la hora de servir a los estudiantes.
The
Low quality.
The low quality of the student services.
Algunos beneficios de los empleados no fueron respetados, como el TRS.
Some of the benefits they were not respect, like the TRS.
Y todo esto no es un rumor.
And this is not a rumor.
Yo quiero preguntarles a ustedes, ¿qué garantía existe que no sucederá esto en el distrito de Fort Worth?
I want to ask you, what is the guarantee that we have that this is not going to happen in this district?
Pues este es un distrito mucho más grande que Crowley,
This is a bigger district than Crowley.
con mayores necesidades.
We have more necessities.
Y para darles un ejemplo, tenemos niños con dietas especiales.
As an example, we have kids that they have a specific diet.
Tenemos niños con alergias,
We have kids with allergies,
que su vida corre peligro
and they are in danger.
si no tienen una dieta modificada,
They don't have the specific diet
menú específico para ellos.
and the specific menu.
Yo estoy preocupada por mi trabajo y por el de todas mis compañeras que han dedicado parte de su vida a servir este distrito.
I'm worried about my job and all my colleagues here.
Pero mi mayor preocupación es los niños, los estudiantes de este distrito.
But I'm more worried about the
Gracias.
kids in this district.
Gabriela Ruiz, Maricela Gallegos.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela Ruiz, and I have worked in Fort Worth ISD for over 12 years. I have been the cafeteria manager at Riverside Middle School for over 10 years. Today, I have come before the board members not only as an employee at Fort Worth ISD, but as a concerned parent and taxpayer. We have recently discovered that there is a proposal where the food service we provide could be outsourced to an outside company. A letter was sent to all managers where the school district tried to address some questions we will have over this proposal. Although the letter did answer these questions, I have a few in my own. If an outside company were to take over the food service department at Fort Worth ISD, how long will they be required to continue to employ the current campus food worker servers? Could in a year this company change our wages and salaries? How much it costs us as a taxpayers to afford this a new company, if at all? This letter said to a school district, the district is always looking for ways that we can become more efficient and effective. I ask the board, how efficient and effective would be this change to the children that are in our schools? Many of the women are here, have children who attend the schools in this district. Mothers in this audience need this income in order to provide a better life for their children. If the district cannot guarantee the security of their jobs and their wages in the long term, how will this affect the children and their lives? I ask the board members, weigh the consequence before make any decisions. Please consider us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maricela Gallegos. I am a cafeteria manager at Riverside Applied Learning Center. I've been a manager for 5 years and worked with the school district for 22 years. I started when I was 21 and I'm 42. And I plan to stay here longer. When I first became manager, I was able to purchase my very first home. My two oldest have graduated, and I still have a son that I have to get through school. My children depend on my job. I depend on my job. If it wasn't from this job, I wouldn't be able to purchase a house. And I don't know how I could provide for my children. I need this job. I am a proud cafeteria manager for Fort Worth ISD that loves her job.
Thank you. Starla Edwards and Patricia Peoples.
Good evening. My name is Starla Edwards. I work at Eastern Hills High School. As a member of Child Nutrition Service in Fort Worth ISD for the last 11 years, I would like to start off by saying I love my job and I love what I do to put a smile on each child's face as they pass through my line at Eastern Hills. But as of the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have been feeling lost, confused, and worried about what's happening with the outsource of Child Nutrition Service. We have had several meetings where I was told it was premature, that there was no RFP as of today. But what I would like to know is, why are we looking into an RFP as an alternative opposed to what we are already doing? What can an outsourced team do better than what we are doing today? If we have to follow, if we have to follow the same USDA regulations that we are following, how would this affect our pay if you choose to go with the RFP? What about our TRS, sick and personal days that we have earned? And that is just a couple of questions I would like answers to. We, the Child Nutrition Service staff, work hard and love what we do. I remember a time when my ladies and I worked in the kitchen with no air. It was 100 degrees outside. We have worked 3 to 4 people short for years at a time. We have child nutrition workers that have worked in situations where most people would have quit. So to be basically told what this is premature, it's not fair to us. They say, I love what I do and would love to continue to work for Fort Worth ISD. So if you could please take the time, consideration, and listen to us and tell us what we can do and help us as Fort Worth ISD employees to improve our jobs. So we, as the staff, are asking you to not outsource our jobs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outsourcing high schools, wow. Good evening, board members and everyone under the sound of my voice. I'm Patricia Peoples, cafeteria manager at Paul Lawrence Dunbar. I've been working for Fort Worth ISD Child Nutrition Service for 23 long years. 14 of them at Dunbar High School. 14 of them at Dunbar High School, where I have seen many students come and go. But the highlight of my 23 years is when I see my former students return to have lunch in the cafeteria for old time's sake. That makes me feel proud to know that our hard work and dedication did not go unnoticed. So I stand here before you today and ask why. Why are we being punished because of poor decisions made by senior management? I have been understaffed for years and still manage to meet dietary guidelines, provide outstanding choices, and promote nutrition education to our students. I don't believe an outsider can do a better job. I also don't believe that an outsider would have the love and the passion that I have for our students. So I ask you this day, give us the tools to succeed. My job is everything to me and the people that rely on me. I'm hoping and praying that before you board members make such a drastic decision, that will think long and hard about our students, managers, everyone's life that will be affected. Thank you for taking the time to hear my truth.
Thank you. Anna McElhaney, Kathy Roseberry Croat. Aaron Carmody.
Hello, my name is Kathy Roseberry, and I am a manager at McLean Middle School. And I'm coming on behalf of all the managers and workers that are coming here today about outsourcing. Okay, when I first heard that our district was trying to save money by outsourcing high schools, I was frustrated. More than I was frustrated, I was devastated, because these are people's jobs. These are parents, these are moms, these are grandparents. These are people. These are not a number. Doesn't the school district officially want the best employees that they can find to do the job? Then why are they trying to outsource our jobs that have been performed by experienced, dedicated food service workers who will try and they shop, they vote in the same district that they work in? Food service operations are one of the most challenging functions in any school district. Our cafeteria managers and our food service employees are the reason that many students in the district receive their only nutrition service meal of the day. Student participation does not equate to the high quality nutritional value for students. The students at Fort Worth ISD have many options and a number of campuses within the district that are open campuses. They have at least 4 to 5 establishments in walking distance to their school. District leadership is the missing key. We need the ingredients and the ability to improve our students' participation at our high school campuses. My question to you, can you help us get the Chief of Secondary Education, the principals, and the district leadership involved in expanding the lunch periods of high school? Don't punish the high school managers and workers. Outsourcing is not the solution. So please, before you decide to outsource the job that we're coming before you to ask, give us the opportunity. We have challenges every day, and we've never given up on you guys. Please don't give up on us.
President Jackson, members of the board, and Dr. Scribner. Hello, my name is Anna McElhaney, and I am the mother of 2 students in the Burton Hill Elementary School Spanish Immersion Program. I wanted to take a few moments to share a parent's perspective about the terrific opportunities and impressive academic results that Spanish Immersion provides. My son entered the Spanish Immersion Program 2 years ago, and since day one, it has been clear that this program offers highly dedicated teachers and excellent quality instruction. When my son entered kindergarten, he was not reading yet, except for a few 2- and 3-letter words. Since then, I have witnessed how closely and tirelessly his teachers have worked with him, and his reading skills in both English and Spanish have grown by leaps and bounds. Now, in his 2nd grade year, he is reading at a 3rd grade level in English and a 2nd grade level in Spanish based on Achieve 3000 test results. In addition, though my daughter just began kindergarten this year, I have seen the same incredible growth and dedication to learning in her classroom. I would love to invite all of you to come out to Burton Hill Elementary School and see our program in action. I have always felt incredibly proud and fortunate to be part of a district that offers Spanish immersion, and I hope you continue to support and expand these programs in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Carmody?
President Jackson, members of the board, and Dr. Scribner. My name is Erin Carmody. I'm the mother of a 5th grader and a 3rd grader in Burton Hill's Spanish Immersion Program. I started studying French in 7th grade. I took French all through high school and majored in French at the University of Texas at Austin. My junior year at UT, I spent a year abroad at Jean Moulin University in Lyon, France, taking all my classes in French literature, history, architecture, in French. And still, after 11 years of study, I never even approached fluency. Once, near the end of my year abroad, I went to an outdoor market and answered a vendor with a simple, oui. And she said, oh, an American. So when my son turned 4 and I began looking at schools for him, I jumped at the chance to give him what I will never have, fluency in a foreign language. Like so many other Spanish immersion parents that I know, my husband and I chose the Spanish immersion program over our excellent neighborhood school and over other fantastic programs of choice in Fort Worth ISD and private schools in the area. For Spanish language learners, you cannot find an opportunity that compares with this anywhere in Fort Worth or in most of North Texas for that matter. And I am so very proud and grateful to the district for having the vision to create this program. And so how are my kids doing after 5 and 3 years in the program? They are excelling both in Spanish and in English. My 5th grade son reads Harry Potter in Spanish. My 3rd grade daughter reads the Judy Moody series and Beverly Cleary books in Spanish. How absolutely incredible to see them reading something that I would have struggled with after 4 years of high school French. We took a family vacation to Mexico City the summer before last, and my husband and I don't speak a word of English, so it was my kids that bartered for souvenirs and told us what the exhibits at the museum were about. Also, it's worth noting that my son has excelled in his English STAR tests in both 3rd and 4th grade. And I'm sure that my daughter will as well. I haven't seen her English suffer. So I was devastated to hear that the Morningside program was not included in this year's Choice Program catalog and may be eliminated. Devastated for the dedicated teachers there and for my friends with students there, with children there, and very worried about what that means for our program at Burton Hill. Sabrina Ball will be talking to you shortly about research on immersion education. I hope that I've helped to convey the personal experience of families and children in the program. Every year, our program has to turn away enough children to make up a whole additional kindergarten class or more. I have numerous personal friends who have tried to get into the program in the lottery and have lost out. This program is wanted. It is needed to provide Spanish language learners with a rock-solid foundation in Spanish. It opens doors for Fort Worth kids to incredible opportunities in life. Please, please continue to support and grow this program.
Thank you. Don Mathis and Sabrina Ball.
Good evening, President Jackson, Superintendent Scribner, and to the rest of the board members and trustees. My name is Don Mathis. I am one of the directors for the United Educators Association, servicing the education support group as well as the auxiliary staff for UEA. It saddens me once again that we stand before you talking about something that shouldn't even be a topic of discussion, talking about outsourcing a part of this district that is so essential to the service and helping and educating some of these students here in Fort Worth ISD. I want to tell you right now, it doesn't get any better than this. It does not get any better than this. This group of people get up every morning before the crack of dawn. They serve sack lunches in classrooms. Before that classroom is over with, they have lunch ready for 300 to 500 to 900 students that they serve in 30-minute limits. Nobody can do and serve and keep up with the standard that Fort Worth ISD consistently puts on them and that they have to meet on a daily basis, even to the point of preparing meals for after school, because the meals they prepare in the morning and the meals they prepare in the evening are some of the only meals that these children get. Yet, y'all want to look outside to try to bring somebody else in to do what they do. So I'm going to make a challenge to this board. I challenge each and every one of you. Take your hats off as board members. Go into their school at 4:30 in the morning. Put a hairnet on your head. Take lunches to the classroom. Be ready at 10 o'clock to serve 300 to 900 kids in 30 minutes time, and then you will know exactly what they do each and every day. It should not be that we have to come. It should not be that a crowd this big have to come in here just so you can hear their voice. So if you can't hear them, look at the signs, hear their faces. They need their jobs. So as I hurry and go to my seat this day, I'm going to leave you with this one saying. That's strictly scripture, and if you put me out of here, that's okay. The scripture says, to what you do to the least of one of mine, you do it unto me. What you do to them, you're going to offend him. So every decision you make is not every business decision is not a good decision. And every business decision is not a smart decision. So the decision that you're making, trying to look at, taking on an outsource, is neither good nor smart. Look at what you got before you go looking on the outside.
Thank you. Maria T. Arredondo. And Ms. Ball?
Do I have to follow him?
You do. Great, but so are you.
Wonderful. Okay, whew. My name is Sabrina Ball. I am a parent rep for the Spanish immersion programs at Burton Hill Elementary and Morningside Elementary. If you haven't heard of Spanish immersion, it is an innovative program that affords students the opportunity to become bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural citizens of a global society. Core content knowledge and skills are taught in Spanish and reinforced through attention to linguistic development. Research-based strategies are used by specially trained teachers proficient in both Spanish and English. This program enhances students' high-order thinking skills, such as critical thinking, problem-solving, and reasoning. Students' state testing scores are at or above those students within general education programs. This is not just my opinion. I have read these descriptions from the Fort Worth ISD website, which I assume you accept as the district's opinion. Alejandro Briseño from Morningside and I have met regularly with bilingual administration to not only improve the programs at our school, but to advocate for expanded and continuing bilingual education for the entire district. This includes dual language programs and WLI, the World Language Institute. So you can imagine our surprise and disappointment to see that Morningside has been dropped from the programs of choice in this year's catalog. At Burton Hill, we are dismayed to hear that while we are in this year's catalog, our program may end as well. a program that has consistently had a wait list for the past 5 years. If we are truly partners in education, if the district is truly interested in creating bilingual, globally minded students across the board, we would like for you to consider an alternative to ending SI altogether, to consider using the infrastructure creating at Burton Hill and Morningside to continue to support language learning for all students. Great programs can be created through adaptation and innovation. At just last week's Multilingual Guiding Coalition meeting with the district, which Allie and I participated, we were given an article from Language Matters entitled, "Why the Dual Language Immersion Approach Will Change Achievement in American Public Schools." For decades, the American educational system has struggled to create equal opportunities for the rapidly expanding population of students whose first language is not English. Too often, these students fail to achieve the same level of academic success as their peers, and the majority of past educational approaches to support English learners has proved neutral at best. However, we can advocate for an approach that may well empower both multilingual and native English-speaking students. We believe the answer lies in dual language immersion programs. All students, no matter their native language, stand to benefit from dual language immersion programs.
Thank
One
you.
sentence. Thank you.
Our final two speakers are Teresa Tammons and Maria T. Arredondo.
Good evening. My name's Teresa Timmons, and I'm here to ask you, please do not bring in an outside company to do a Fort Worth ISD job. I've been an employee with child nutrition at Fort Worth ISD for 30 years, 27 of those years at Arlington Heights High School. I teach nutrition, manners, financial responsibility, and I serve delicious, nutritious meals to students and staff every day. And I know that we can do a much better job than any outside company could ever do if we're given the right resources, encouragement, and support from the district, from child nutrition, from parents, and from students. Why? Because we care about the students and Fort Worth ISD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Good
Mi
afternoon.
nombre es María Trinidad Arredondo
My name is María Trinidad Arredondo.
y llevo 9 años trabajando para el distrito.
I have been working 9 years for the district.
Estoy trabajando ahorita, en la actualidad, en la Western Hills High School.
I'm working right now at the Western Hills High School.
Sí, y las que trabajamos ahí en la cafetería, hacemos un trabajo no menos importante, ¿verdad? Porque hacemos la comida para los estudiantes.
The ones that we work in the cafeteria do a really important work because we do the food for the students.
Nosotros, bueno, yo me gusta mucho mi trabajo y me gusta que esté todo bien.
I love my job and I love that everything is in good place.
Que se vea bien la comida.
I want to have a good presentation for the food.
Yo tengo como 9 años trabajando para el distrito. Yo sé que hay personas que tienen más años que yo trabajando.
I have been working just 9 years for the district and I know that there is people that have been working longer.
Nos gusta nuestro trabajo, aunque eso implique muchas veces
I like my job even when sometimes
que trabajemos bajo presión y contrarreloj.
Have to work under pressure and with short time.
A veces tenemos que hacer el trabajo de 2 o hasta de 3 personas.
Sometimes we have to do the job of one or we have to do the job of 2 or 3 persons.
Porque no nos mandan ayuda.
Because there is not enough help.
Y los niños tienen que llegar a comer.
And the kids has to arrive to school and have breakfast.
La comida tiene que estar preparada.
The breakfast has to be ready.
A temperatura.
The temperature has to be the correct one.
Y dar una buena impresión, o sea, para que se les antoje a los niños agarrar su comida.
And have a good impression to be sure that the kids want to eat.
Como les mencionaba, tenemos ya varias que tenemos bastantes años en el distrito.
As I mentioned, we are a lot of people that have been working for a long time.
Pero un buen día nos hablan y nos dicen que va a haber corte de horas.
And suddenly they just call and told us that they are going to short the time that we're going to work.
Después que de año tras año nos esforzamos para que nos den de 10 a 15 minutos.
After years applying to have 10 to 15 minutes.
Un buen día, sin ninguna consideración, ningún respeto, nos hablan y nos dicen hay corte de horas.
One day, without consideration, they just say that they just cut the time.
Después de varios días, nos dicen que se nos va a terminar el trabajo.
And after so many days, they say that we are not going to have a job.
Entonces, yo les quiero decir, ¿qué pasa? ¿Dónde está nuestro respeto para nuestro trabajo?
I just want to know what is the respect that you have for your job.
Y nuestra señoría.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank each of you for being here tonight. I want to thank you for being respectful, for representing Fort Worth ISD, and most importantly, for what you do for our children every day. I'm going to ask that this board give you a hand. And on that note, this meeting is now recessed and will be called to order in the board conference room. Oh, that's okay, we'll go ahead and start. In accordance with the open meetings law, the board opened the meeting at 5:30 PM in the boardroom with the quorum present, recessed open session. The boardroom is now reconvened at 7:40 PM in open session, the board conference room with the quorum present. Are there any questions concerning agenda items? Mr. Robbins?
Thank you, President Jackson. On item 9A1,
Yes, sir.
could someone elaborate on what we're going to be able to do with the Region 11 video conferencing program that we're buying? I'm really interested in video teleconferencing and expanding online learning and so on. I'm hopeful this will help us do that. 9A1.
On page 4.
This one, Mr. Robbins, is the service that Region 11 hosts, and whenever there are district-wide or community-wide video conferencing opportunities, it allows us to take advantage of them. They'll host them at Region 11. They send out monthly communications to say, here are educational opportunities that will be broadcast in the upcoming month that we can then take advantage of within the district or within other districts. So we then send those out through the teaching and learning organization as well as the instructional technology to work with our coaches on the campuses so they can then use it in the classrooms as well as the distance learning classrooms. So it kind of works in both capacities.
And we use this every month?
We send out the schedule every month so the teachers can integrate it into their lessons if it's applicable, so they kind of know the topics that are coming up.
Do we have any idea of how widely it's used?
Sir?
Do we have any idea of how widely it is used within our school district?
At this point, we don't measure the actual utilization, but that is something we are putting in those measurements going forward.
Good.
Because it's tied into our Active Directory this year, where we did not have those measurements last year.
Thank you. On item 9B and C, I'm curious about the difference in cost for the Como and the Greenbrier De Zavala after-school programs. And it didn't appear to me that the Como program had the academic component that the other two schools did. So if someone could help me there.
So the De Zavala and Greenbrier, $41,705. That's what's been allocated by the city to the district for us to draw down from them. Como is, of course, the Leadership Academy. So there are two different. There's $50,000 that we've allocated from the city, and then there's the additional funding from the Rainwater Charitable Foundation.
Okay.
Location.
Okay. Thank you. And then the only other one I have is on items 9K through N. Again, if there's any way we could include the school title in either the package number or the TEA number in the topic, I think it would help our constituents know what the agenda item addresses. You know, right now they can't tell what school it is, and if we could possibly add a school in addition to the TEA number and the package number, that would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, we discussed this actually at leadership team this morning, and Elsie, if you could address that, and I think Vicki as well.
Yes, sir. What we've done, sometimes the elongation of these topics get a little long. And so what we've done now is if you look under the participating school departments, it will list all of the campuses involved. So they're listed in that place.
And can our constituents see that as well?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. All of this agenda items are attached.
okay. Very good. Thank you.
What item is that?
Items 9K through N,
Oh, that's right.
all the construction items.
Like on page 124, we have Como.
Yes, and then like on page 126, we have TEA Diamond Hill Jarvis, Northside High School, and Elder Middle School. So it's under the participating school department section.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Robbins. Trustee Sutherland?
I have two items that I'm interested in. Item F, I would like to take off the consent agenda because I want to talk about it. And number two, I don't know if I want to, I guess I want 2 off, number A2 also, because I want to vote against that.
A2?
I think it's A2. It's the 2 on the top of page, whatever it is.
A2?
Consent, yeah, A2. Wait a
Demographic
minute.
Services, Dr. Sutherland?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
the marginal utility of getting another study, in my opinion, is less than the cost. Okay.
Okay, so A2 and 9F, is that correct? They'll go to action. Okay, anybody else?
Wait, we're doing action too?
Well, we will have to move those to the action items, Dr. Sutherland, if
I
you would
see.
like them pulled from consent. So
My
that
hearing.
means we need to change that front.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Okay, this concludes discussion of agenda items. We'll now recess for executive session in the board conference room as authorized by Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code under Sections 551, 2, 4, and 6.
So this morning, I am here. I'm going to lead this great band, Arlington Heights High School. Yeah!
Let's go ahead and get it into the street, line it up, and let's get this thing started.
This morning we are having our annual march-a-thon, and we're going to be doing a 10K. We're marching from Manning to Tom Thumb at Trinity Commons, and then we're going to meet up with Pascal.
It's a really cool way for us to raise money and also give back to the community. It's cool just to walk down the street and just play music, blast it out, wake people up sometimes. That's a bit fun.
Each group does a 10K, and so the kids get really stoked about it. You know, at first they're kind of all dread it, you know, but I tell you, once they get into it, I mean you just hear them. I mean, they love this kind of stuff, and it all culminates to this great celebration right here, where both groups get together and just have a fun time.
It's really cool because like there's this whole rivalry between Heights and Pascal. It's like, oh, Pascal, we got to crush them and everything. But the bands really like to come together. We come together, play some tunes together. It sounds good. We all really just mesh with each other, and then because band kids are always band kids no matter where you go.
We always need more funds for these band programs, these extracurricular programs. and so that we can accommodate those kids who maybe can't afford instruments or couldn't necessarily afford to be in band. So it helps us help subsidize some of those kids and really make every kid have a good experience in this program.
We have a very special week going on. The classes have all been studying about Native Americans that inhabited this land.
This is a baby buffalo. Not very big.
We also have Eddie Sandoval, who is a Native American from the Apache tribe here, to actually do the blessing of our new Meadowbrook artwork, which is called Buffalo Country.
He's doing a ceremony outside blessing the buffalo.
He told them about his bow and arrow, he talked to them about buffaloes, and got to share that with the students.
The point has been tempered over fire to make it hard.
I want to do jumps and bison and hide of a baby bison.
I've had the opportunity to come here and talk to the students about our culture and our tribe, and that education is very important. It's a purifying and blessing ceremony for the silhouettes of buffalo, and talk about the four directions, prayers to the four directions. There's usually an eagle feather flying off of my pole here, and that symbolizes your heart, your spirit, and your soul. We're still here. Sometimes we call the silent people because we don't protest and we don't do this or that, but we're here.
We think it's important for them to understand how Texas started.
You guys give him a round of applause.
And I welcome each of you here this morning to this ribbon cutting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dale New School, a combination of Van Gwen, I am Terrell. I am pleased to see you today, and we know you're going to enjoy this school.
There is greatness in this room, there is great energy in this room, and there are future leaders in this room.
I'm a leader because I help people in my classroom with their math.
This neighborhood is vibrant, it's alive, and it's well. So if anybody tells you there's nothing going on in Southeast and South Fort Worth, you've got a few things to tell them.
And our science lab where the students can continue their learning.
Welcome to the new Van Gwen Elementary School. Both industrial campuses have united to become one dynamic epicenter in education in this community.
It has 2 floors, it has a nice cafeteria, and the gym is very big. This school has more windows, and it's bigger.
So I am glad that this school board had the vision to leave this school right where it was.
Leaders from all sectors of our community came together to problem solve and create new opportunities for students and for the neighborhood in which they live.
It's cool. This is my first time moving to a different school.
We have an opportunity to educate children and to provide leaders for the future.
Fort Worth ISD is committed to producing graduates who are prepared to succeed as college and university students.
and as productive members of the Tarrant County workforce. Academic results are rising, and we will continue to focus on 3 district goals: early literacy, middle years math, and college and career readiness.
Fort Worth ISD must also stay on top of the growth in our city with the timely construction of new schools and additions and the improvement of aging facilities.
And the motion passes unanimously 8-0.
In an effort to further these goals, Fort Worth ISD trustees have approved 2 elections for this fall.
Proposition A and Proposition B. Proposition A is a penny swap tax rate authorization. Proposition B is a $750 million bond proposal.
If approved, neither of these propositions will result in a tax rate increase for citizens.
We're hard workers, we get the job done, we're accountable, we have integrity.
For more than a year, a community-wide advisory group made up of educators, parents, and community leaders evaluated Fort Worth ISD campuses and their capacity to prepare students for success.
This diverse team looked at what Fort Worth ISD schools needed in order to meet the demands of an educated and qualified 21st century workplace.
The recommendations of the team resulted in a $750 million capital improvement program.
Collaboration is key to success. We need to hear other people's ideas, see how they're thinking.
Our past 2 school bond programs have focused on classroom improvements across all grades. The 2017 propositions continue to touch all grades, but with an emphasis on improved learning in our district's neighborhood high schools.
These proposed renovations will broaden and enhance the ability of educational instruction and learning in all neighborhood high schools. The emphasis will be on modern instructional and classroom environments for STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as for CTE, career and technical education instruction.
The bond will also allow for upgrades in our high schools for libraries, fine arts, and athletics, as well as plumbing and air conditioning infrastructure. Overall, only 7% of the total bond is proposed to go to athletic improvements, including the addition of athletic facilities at our new Benbrook Middle High School.
Student growth and classroom overcrowding is a concern too.
Fort Worth continues to be one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. The district's current student enrollment is nearly 87,000, and by 2020 it's expected to be as much as 90,000.
Proposition B, the bond proposal, will address current classroom overcrowding in areas like Tanglewood and will help the Fort Worth ISD be prepared for its growing student population across the district.
I plan on attending Midwestern University and going into the field of kinesiology to be a professional sports trainer.
Some of Fort Worth ISD's greatest success has come from our specialized programs of instruction, like this one. This bond program is designed to help us expand these schools and accommodate additional growth.
The bond proposes to include building a new Young Men's Leadership Academy near the campus of Dunbar High School.
And moving the Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences, that's the district's early college medical school, right here on Tarrant County College's Trinity River campus.
The bond will also transfer our World Languages Institute to a new 6th through 12th grade campus at the site of the former Leonard 6th grade center.
I'm like a visual learner, an interactive learner. I always learn better when I'm with people so I can hear like different opinions and like different ways.
If Proposition A, the penny swap authorization, is approved, the district will also be able to use additional state funding to update security, technology, and instructional equipment at our elementary and middle schools district-wide.
To tell you how the penny swap authorization works, here's Jacob again.
All right, our total school tax rate is comprised of a maintenance and operation part and a debt payment part. If approved by the voters, Proposition A, the penny swap authorization, would allow the school district to increase the maintenance and operation portion of its tax rate by 2 cents, so that it can lower its debt service portion by an equal 2 cents.
This penny swap would allow Fort Worth ISD to receive an additional $23 million each year for maintenance and operation, mostly funded by added money from the state.
This will result in up to $230 million over the next 10 years and would allow the district to launch its proposed bond improvement program, Proposition B, with no increase in the current school tax rate.
Proposition A and Proposition B have been designed to operate in tandem.
Now it's up to you, the voter, to decide. Mark your calendar for Election Day, Tuesday, November 7th. And for early voting, October 23rd through November 3rd. For additional information, please visit FWISD.org, which contains school-by-school breakouts on the bond program's proposed improvements. Thank you.
If you like caring for animals, growing things, or finding ways to conserve natural resources, then take a look at Fort Worth ISD's Gold Seal Agriculture and Horticulture Program of Choice.
My husband and I raise beef cattle.
Raise animals and find out what it takes to keep them healthy. Learn the science and business of the changing livestock production industry. And get a grip on interesting career options in this field.
And then you'll put more dirt around
You'll
it.
dig into the art and science of soil and plants.
Make sure the roots are
Learn your
down.
way around a nursery and create landscape designs for the great outdoors.
It's gonna get weight.
Just kind of going across the top.
It's your choice at Arlington Heights Agriculture, Animal, and Veterinary Sciences.
It teaches responsibilities. It's a really good program.
Learn more at fwisd.org/choice or call 817-814-2580. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all our social media.
Lay the foundation for an exciting career and college pathway here at a Fort Worth ISD Architecture and Construction Gold Seal Program of Choice.
All the openings have double studs.
You'll master the technology to design and draw building plans. You'll learn about project management and even how to use construction tools.
I want to be an electrician when I grow up.
Need more to spark your interest? Learn the science and art of welding. You'll explore various techniques, get creative, and master the latest welding equipment as you prepare for high-skill, high-wage careers.
Slow down a little bit, you're going a little too fast.
Choose from architecture and construction programs at Diamond Hill Jarvis, Architecture Design, and Trimble Technical Welding Fabrication and Metal Art.
Just give me some general dimensions here.
Learn more at fwisd.org/choice or call 817-814-2580. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all our social media.
In 3, 2.
The Fort Worth ISD.
Do you see yourself as a future news reporter or anchor?
One goal.
How about the director or the technician at the controls?
Camera one.
Then you'll want to check out the Broadcast Journalism and Media Technology program at Southwest High School. Learn how to gather, write, and tell the important stories of the day across multiple platforms, television and online. A partnership with the district's Ed TV department allows students to deliver the news live from a real news studio and on location. You'll build valuable skills behind the camera as well: directing, lighting, audio production, video editing, digital graphics, and more. There are even opportunities to be part of a sports production team, streaming school games just like the pros. If you want a sound introduction to fast-paced and exciting multimedia careers, choose Southwest High School's Broadcast Journalism and Media Technology.
All this and more on AMP Cafe.
Learn more at fwisd.org/choice or call 817-814-2580. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all our social media.
We appreciate the support of all of our school community who are here this evening. We say it takes a village to raise and educate children. Well, it also takes a village when it comes to informing a large community about the November 7th penny swap and bond elections.
Hi, how are you?
Board members and others have joined me the past few weeks at town halls across the district. They've been great.
Good to see you.
But somewhere between PowerPoints, I thought about you, our 10,000 plus teachers and staff. Now that's a village. What if each of you shared information about the bond proposals with just a couple of family members or friends? Together, you'd be informing thousands of potential voters. Of course, on school time, you can only inform. You can't say how to vote, but you can say there are two propositions on the ballot. Proposition A, a tax rate authorization, and Proposition B, a $750 million bond proposal. And you can say that passage of both would not result in an increase in the current tax rate. If approved, Proposition A, the penny swap, would allow the district to receive an additional $23 million each year, mostly in added money from the state. This money could upgrade technology for middle and elementary school students. That's 1-to-1 for middle schools and 2-to-1 for the elementaries. The Bond Improvement Program, Proposition B, would provide new schools and classrooms to meet population growth. And among other things, it would upgrade learning environments at all high schools. You can also tell your friends when to vote, either early from October 23rd to November the 3rd or on Election Day, November the 7th. And you can let everyone know where to get more information on the district's website. Thank you for sharing this important message with the rest of the village.
Fascinated by aircraft or cars?
Got good tension.
An automotive and aviation technology Gold Seal program of choice will give you a jump on a career that will take you places. You'll get real working knowledge of automotive components and systems while discovering the variety of jobs in this growing industry. Earn college credits and graduate prepared for certification and an entry-level automotive job.
What type of landing gear is it?
For aircraft lovers, it's an opportunity like no other. Imagine exploring aviation, aerospace, and flight technology inside a real hangar.
There's evidence of chafing.
You'll learn about big engine repair and principles of flight to prepare for the high-paying, high-flying aviation industry.
Make sure this is secure.
Find your path in an automotive and aviation technology program of choice at Dunbar High Aviation Technology Program or Polytechnic Automotive Technology Experience.
They need to blow it out.
Learn more at fwisd.org/choice or call 817-814-2580. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all our social media.
accordance with the open meetings law, the board opened the meeting at 5:30 p.m. in the boardroom with a quorum present, recessed, and reconvened open session in the board conference room, adjourned regular session, convened executive session, adjourned executive session, and now reconvened open session at 8:13 p.m. in the boardroom with a quorum present. Do I have a motion accepting consent agenda items with the exceptions of 9A2 and 9F that will be voted on as action items? Have a mover, Dr. T.A. Sims, and seconded by Christine Moss. Any discussion? Hearing none, please move to voting. And the motion passes 8-0. Moving on to action items, we will vote on 9A2 first. (9A2) acceptance of bids, proposals, single source and agreement purchases of $50,000 and more. Approved purchase of demographic services to analyze data necessary for facilities master planning. Motion by Mr. Robbins, seconded by Mr. Lubanos. Any discussion? Please move to voting. It passes 7 yeas, 1 nay. The nay is Dr. Sutherland. 9F, approval of budget amendment for the period ended September 30th, 2017. Motion, Dr. Sims, second, Trustee Robbins. Discussion, Dr. Sutherland, please.
I questioned this during the agenda review. It increases the deficit by another $2 million, and this is apparently added to some money that we already voted to spend. I can speak for myself. I don't know if the rest of the board understood or not. When we vote for extra things, it's my impression that there's room in the budget for them. And if there's not room in the budget, I want that pointed out to me, if you don't mind. And this is a deficit that approaches the level that we had some years ago when I wrote a letter to the Star-Telegram and they made it into an editorial. I don't know how we're going to handle this deficit. I have great faith in this Chief Financial Officer, so I assume it's okay, but I'm voting against this one. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you, Dr. Sutherland. Any other discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, please move to voting. And the motion passes 7 yea, 1 nay. Nay is Dr. Ann Sutherland. Moving on to action agenda items. We have something very exciting to do today. Approve the proclamation recognizing October 14th, 2017 as Fort Worth Book Fest Day. Do I have a motion? Ms. Needham with the motion, Dr. Sims with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please move to voting. And the proclamation passes unanimously. If I could make just a couple of comments. Ms. Henry, thank you for being here, staying through the night, changing your plans this evening to be here with us. Would you like to say a couple of words? You've worked very hard on Book Fest. You've made it look effortless, but you can tell us how hard you've worked.
No, I don't want to share that with you, and I thank you very much, President Jackson, members of the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Scribner. Thank you so very much for recognizing this event that we will launch in Fort Worth on Saturday, and I invite you all to come out and see what we have put together. It's been almost 2 years that we began the planning. We will start at 9:15 in the morning with a the usual ribbon cutting ceremony and speechifying and what have you. But the really exciting part will be the parade of books and characters led by Miss Library Ann, who will be wearing a dress of many books. Literally, many books have been taken apart not good books, not new books, books that were going to be recycled. And she has made a dress out of that, so you'll want to come out and see that. There is a part for children that includes Johnny Villarreal. The mayor will be reading. I understand there are some Fort Worth ISD personnel will be reading as well. And then there's the adult portion with all, and yes, please, let me say, President Jackson will be there, and we are so appreciative that she will. Anyone else that wants to come out and read, please let us know. We'd be happy to have you. The children would be delighted. And we thank you very, very much for this honor that you have bestowed upon us. Let me share one more thing, please, quickly. When we first began this process, we wanted to have a program that we call Writing Swag, Students Writing and Growing. We were able to get the program into your Fort Worth After School program. And there were 5 elementary schools and 1 middle school. The kids were to write to their 30-year-old self. How did I prepare to be the you that you are or will be in 30 years? We got some good letters, and we got some not so good letters because the instructions were not followed. The fact of the matter is that the students wrote, and they didn't text, and they didn't email, and they didn't do any of those other shortcut kinds of things. They wrote actual sentences with nouns and verbs and the whole 9 yards. We'd really like for you to take this on as something that maybe not even next year goes in full-fledged, but to go along with the reading by 2025, you write to read, you read to write. If the kids can't write, well, you know, what are we doing? We appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Please come out on Saturday. The book festival itself starts at 10 and it goes through until 6. There are workshops and panel discussions, as well as the children's activities. There'll be workshops and panel discussions for parents and children. One of the library people is conducting a workshop on early childhood literacy is the name of that program. There will be a workshop for young people on developing and presenting a poetry slam. We will talk a little bit about behind the shield, how to teach your children to react and interact with the police department. I mean, for a first-year event, I'm telling you, we got it going on, and I really, you guys need to come out and support us. We'll be back again next year. We want to work more closely with you, especially with our writing program and whatever we can do with the reading part of it. The kids who did get into the Writing Swag program, some of the letters will be selected, and those kids will come to the book fest and in informal settings will read their papers. We look at that for a twofold thing. Not only did you write and think about who you will be in 30 years, but you will stand in front of an audience, read what you have written, and then answer questions about what made you write that, or how did you come to that conclusion about yourself? So there's a lot of interactive things going on with that writing program, not just write something, not just come up with some lines on a page to give thought to what it is that you're doing. I thank you very much, all of you. Appreciate everything that you've done this evening, and I look to see each and every one of you on Saturday.
You'll see us.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yes, ma'am.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hang on, and they're going to make a copy for you, too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, we have comments by board members. Trustee Jacinto Ramos Jr. will be speaking about his travels to the CUBE conference and sharing information with us.
Before I make the comments, I'd like to cue the team to show a quick video that NSBA has asked me to show. They've asked all the CUBE steering committee members to do that on a national level, so I'd like to honor my integrity and say that we've done that. So we'll watch this video real quick.
Urban school boards are oftentimes running our largest public school systems.
We have to be deliberate and intentional about the offerings that students get in urban districts.
We might fall down, but we will get back up for kids across America.
As America itself has become more and more proportion of students of color, as America has more and more increased the number of students of poverty, we've had to be very intentional as to how we address those issues.
50 years ago, this was probably an 85% white nation, and the urban schools look like today's suburban schools.
I think every student deserves an opportunity. Every student can learn.
But they need people backing them. They need good school administrators and teachers and leaders.
We've been on the forefront of the discussion and figuring out how to integrate our schools. And that's going to be critical, especially as the demographic in the country changes.
CUBE is super important. This is where the conversations are being had. It's the ones that we call the courageous conversations. It's where the solutions are being drawn up. And looking at 50 years of this type of work, it's an honor to be around it.
Equity is going to be the driving force and factor leaning forward for the next 50 years.
We have to continue to push, push, and push. Fight, fight, and fight. When we wake up in the morning, the fight for freedom begins right there.
Pretty happy, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you, Mrs. Moss, for introducing me to CUBE, because I think every single one of those individuals that spoke, you know personally and have worked with, and introduced me to the world of CUBE. So we did just have our 50th anniversary in New Orleans. We are tackling the tough subjects. It is the place, it's what I called my training ground for learning the language of equity, and even specifically the language of racial and ethnic equity, where I was taught on how to be courageous, how to use my emotional intelligence to bring light to a very, very controversial subject. So that's CUBE, but then I've also, this weekend, had the privilege and the honor of co-presenting at TASB on the work that the Racial and Ethnic Equity Committee has done, alongside with Mrs. Moss and Ms. Sherry Breed, and Dr. Scribner was in the house, and Anael came by, and thank you for coming by to see the work. But I cannot tell you how many compliments Fort Worth ISD is receiving because of this work. A number of folks who walked up and said, I'm white, and this is the first time I haven't wanted to walk out of a workshop when you talk about race. A number of individuals who said that they identify as Republican, and that they didn't want to hear this conversation, but are really curious and anxious, and that includes some of our neighbors to the east and to the west of us. So Fort Worth ISD, Sherry Breed, thank you so much for the work that you're doing and leading the work, and Mrs. Moss for co-signing for us and asking us to do the work, and Dr. Scribner for being in the room and completing some of the sentences of demonstrating the chemistry that this team has. And then the last one is just kind of to speak on collaborative leadership of what I've witnessed Dr. Scribner do historically, and to not get off agenda or get us in hot water. I would like to make a recommendation to our board to take a deeper look at food services and see kind of everything that we heard today. I'd like to ask, no discussion, just ask this board to consider looking at data and information, because I heard a lot of amazing human beings in our city and in our district who are passionate about serving our children. And I Also like us to possibly entertain getting a roundtable of just as we've done with everything else, through some of the hottest topics that this district has gone to in the last 2 years. Sounds like this is one as well. So I'd like us ideally to see students, to see parents, to see educators, and of course, definitely food services staff. So just like to put that up for discussion for next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Ramos, and hey, that was a pretty cool film. Trustee Needham.
Thank you, President Jackson. I didn't call to be on the agenda. Can I make a couple of quick announcements? Tomorrow night, the bond town hall meeting will be at Arlington Heights High School at 6:30. So I encourage anyone that has questions or wants to hear more about it to please come to Heights. It'll last an hour. Dr. Scribner and I will be there to answer questions and show us short video. So please come. Heights recently got with the Alamo Heights neighborhood, which is just to the east of Heights, and participated in the National Night Out evening, and they have the fabulous literacy rally coming up on Saturday, November 4th, where all the schools in the Heights Pyramid get together and get hundreds, if not thousands, books donated for kids of all ages, and lots of games and things for kids to do with football players and basketball and whatever else kids like to do. So anyone is welcome to come on Saturday, November 4th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Needham. Trustee Moss?
President Jackson, I've had a very exciting weekend, but first I want to commend my colleague, Mr. Ramos. We had, it was such an outstanding presentation. Miss Breed and Ricky Clark, and just to have our superintendent there. You know, we brag on our superintendent all the time. But I just want to say it was so outstanding until I was actually moved. I don't know if you know if that's possible or not. But I was just, and to hear others talk about Fort Worth ISD. And so I want to ask, when we are presenting Fort Worth ISD, when we are presenting at a conference, inform all of the board members, because we had Fort Worth ISD presenting Parent University. And if I had known, I would have attended, because in general session, we had Garland ISD. The young man was just on fire. I mean, after he saw the presentation, he wanted to know who should I contact and how did we get that? And then the board member, his colleague on the Garland board, she said, well, now he's too excited. He has not gotten permission. And I said, well, he's a trustee. He doesn't have to have permission. But anyway, I did give him Karen. Ms. Molinar, I gave your name and your number. But they were real excited about Parent University, and then I started bragging about it, because they had been down to the board room. But she even had a video of the board presentation and all of that. But it would benefit all of the trustees if we were able to attend and hear about all the good things that you're doing here in Fort Worth ISD. And I'll let that go. And Mr. Ramos, you did not talk about being invited to Dr. Perkins' team, but you can do that. Yeah, okay. But this past weekend at Tassatasby, during the conference, I was elected as the president of the Texas Caucus of Black School Board Members, and for me, that was a real honor. And I want to thank the superintendent, Ms. Jackson, Mr. Labanos, probably didn't get that right, and Mia Hall, and Dr. Sims for being there in support when I was elected. And it was really moving to have all of my colleagues there and supporting me. So that's all I have for that one. Now, I have another point to make, but I want to ask if my colleagues would assist. Mr. Robbins, we attended the general session, and we were told, they talked about the marquee and how we can promote our school district. They talked about all summer long, we have our not billboards, but marquees vacant. Nothing is on the marquee. When we could use the marquees to praise our employees, we could use the marquees to talk about the good things we have, our scores. We could say, for instance, and colleagues, you'll have to help with this, food service, the workers, thank you, providing 20,000 meals this year. You know, the little things that really matter to the employees. And I'll ask if you chime in.
This has been a long-term pet peeve of mine, that I don't think we use our communication pieces, the billboards, as well as we could. And sometimes we leave up dated information that just makes us look like we don't care. And we don't need to do that. We have so many things that we can brag about and that we should brag about. And if it was done in some kind of an organized way, then people all over town would get the same positive messages at the same time, in the same way. And it just seems like we have a tremendous opportunity to communicate with our communities using a mechanism that's already in place and would cost us nothing to do. So if there are problems with getting people to put up the signs, and maybe we can find volunteers or something to do that. But there's got to be a solution to us being able to use these communications pieces better, and I hope we explore that.
Awesome. And also, they talked about we could even use the transportation department. How many trips did they make that year? You know, thank the transportation department. It talked about all of the departments, then it talked about what we offer. I mean, the guy was really great because he gave us so many ideas of what we could do, you know, with just letting people know what we have in this district and how great our employees are. And I wrote all the other examples down. I remember that. But it was great.
Dr. Sutherland.
First of all, I want to like to congratulate Mrs. Moss on her election to the school boards, the Black School Boards Association. It's a real feather in your cap and in ours also. And also the same thing to Cinto for his work. It's very interesting. I have several comments. They aren't very long. To begin with, I'd like to say that I have a relationship with the Morningside bilingual program. My grandson went there. And I was very disappointed to hear that it has been discontinued without any discussion on the board. And it bothers me. I should also mention that my first husband was a Russian translator. He spoke several languages. I don't. And it gave him enormous opportunities that would never have been possible without his abilities. I am beginning to think that somehow we have to have more control over staff. I'm not blaming Dr. Scribner, but our board has no staff, and the elections are very expensive. And I believe this board needs to have more heft. I do not know exactly how we should go about it, but I believe it is a very serious thing, and it contributes to the educational issues, despite the good work that our curriculum department is doing. And along with that, I mentioned the Morningside and Burton Hill program, I don't understand what wrinkle of organization allows this to be discontinued without any discussion or even notice to the board. I found out several weeks ago, I don't know if I mentioned this, if I have, I apologize. Our staff has been down to every high school principal in the district and told them what changes were going to be happening to the school's choice, without any coordination whatsoever with the board meeting or even the courtesy of talking to us. As a consequence, there are programs that were left out of the catalog, which bothered me a lot until I found out the reason they were left out was because we're not going to be doing them. And to me, this is just evidence of a lack of coordination. I mean, I thought we had this place organized so that I actually have the organization chart at the top of my list of things. I refer to it at least 2 or 3 times every week. And I don't understand how these things can happen without any central coordination at the assistant superintendent level, or associate, whichever it is, or even discussion with the board. There was a program left out of South Hills in the catalog, and the reason I found out that staff had been around talking to principals is I called the principal up, and I said, you know, they left your program out. And he said, well, we're only going to have one program. And I don't even know if he got the message correctly, okay? But I do know that's how I found out that the staff had been around telling principals what was going to happen in their schools. I mean, we should at least be pretending that the board is in charge of things, okay? At least pretend.
Dr. Sutherland?
Let us know.
I'm
Yes.
being cautioned by the attorney that we can add this to the next agenda.
Yeah, I want to do it now, okay? And you can add it to the next agenda if you want to. I have the floor.
And don't you?
Yeah.
Dr. Sutherland, that was part of public comment.
I'm in
So
public
we
comment.
cannot deliberate on that topic.
Excuse me, point of order. I do not deliberating. I'm telling you what I think.
Deliberation is a verbal exchange.
Yeah, well, we aren't having a verbal exchange
That's
until
what you're doing. You're
not doing it.
commenting on something that was discussed earlier.
So you're telling me that I cannot make these comments, which I have not made earlier?
Yes.
Because it was discussed earlier?
Yes.
That is bizarre. That is just absolutely bizarre. Yeah, and we aren't allowed to have our own attorney. She represents the superintendent. She doesn't represent us.
We'll have this looked at by an attorney and have film reviewed for you. And if I could, do you have anything else, or do you want me to move on?
Yes, I do. I have one more thing.
Okay, thank you.
There's some question, we haven't talked about this. It's still a Gold Seal Programs of Choice, but we haven't talked about this. And that has to do with the signups. And apparently, with the exception of a couple of them, there's going to be, everything is going to be done according to lottery. And if we're going to do it according to lottery, I think that lottery should be public so that people have some sense. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm looking forward to a legal opinion on that.
I agree, and it's on the record. Thank you, and thank you for your patience. Trustee Needham.
Thank you. One more comment, and congratulations, Ms. Moss. It's a wonderful honor, and I know you're thrilled, and I'm sorry I couldn't be in Dallas to see you honored, but cheers for you. You represent us very well. I just wanted to point out a little, our newest, youngest board member, his last name is pronounced Luevanos, and it has an accent on the E, but he doesn't put it the accent, but his wife does. If it didn't have an accent, it would be Luevanos.
And it's kept me perpetually confused between those two.
So tonight you guessed the wrong one, but it's
Welcome
wonderful
back.
to have
We're so glad you're back.
Mr. Luevanos with us. Thank you.
She got you too, Mom. And she just handed it off to you, spoken perfectly.
Thank you, Ms. Judy. Yes, this is Luevanos.
I'm just going to go to
I want
sleep
to congratulate Ms. Moss on being appointed to the president of the Black Caucus in Texas for school board members. And I want to congratulate Jacinto Ramos for an outstanding presentation on Saturday morning, I believe, 2 hours in the morning. Thank you for all your work. I enjoyed TASB as a delegate. Thank you to this board for choosing me. It was my first time. It was interesting how the process works. And I want to say that I agree with Mr. Ramos that we should have a table, an open table, a discussion about addressing the issues with our cafeteria workers.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments? Ms. Needham?
I'll make one more.
Oh, Dr. Sutherland, please.
Yeah, just let me point out that when a board member has the floor, no other board member may interrupt, and no staff member may interrupt. If you check Robert's Rules of Order, you'll find that's the case. Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, we are adjourned.